Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Shadow Hippowdon in the Ultra League Premier Cup. Shadow Hippowdon is one of the newer Shadow Pokemon that was just released with the most recent Frustration event, and I was lucky enough to get a very high rank one, a rank 20. And since I got a good rank one, I figured I may as well build it and try it out to see if it is worth using in the Ultra League. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, take a look at Shadow Hippowdon in action, and see if it is worth investing in for the Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a pretty decent lead, Shadow Hippowdon into Charizard. The opponent stage switches a Shadow Gallade, and we have the perfect response in Trevenant. Shadow Claws absolutely tear through Shadow Gallade. All their charge moves are resisted, so we easily tank the Leaf Blade, overfarm slightly, and now we're going for the Seed Bomb to guarantee the KO. I'm hoping that with that overfarm, I will be able to reach a Shadow Ball before the Charizard can farm me down. Back in comes the Charizard. This will be close, but we're able to get there. Trevenant able to do big damage or force a shield. We get the shield, and I am 100% okay with shield advantage. Back in comes Hippowdon. Charizard throws just before we reach the move. I am going to shield up. A Blast Burn would hurt. It is the Blast Burn, but the final Pokemon is a Machamp. They're running a double fighter strat. They baited out my Ghost type, and now I'm in trouble. I go for the Earth Power. It's shielded, and now I bring in the Shadow Snorlax. The Machamp is not Shadow, so we should survive the Cross Chop here. Cross Chop, we do live it, and we are able to get to the Body Slam. I was a little worried I wasn't going to be able to reach the Superpower. We go for the Body Slam. That does get them low, and then we get farmed down. This is going to be tough. We do sneak an Ice Fang through. So can Shadow Hippowdon farm down and then outpace the Charizard? This is going to be close. Back in comes the Charizard. Come on, Shadow Hippowdon. Shadow Hippowdon is able to reach the Weather Ball. That is going to be taking care of the Charizard. And despite a bit of a scare in the end game, we are able to get the win. Picking up an Escavalier lead in the next match, and I am now desperately wishing that I was running Fire Fang. We are able to catch what should hopefully be a Drill Run onto Trevenant, which we are, and now the opponent switches into a Shadow Wall Rain. I'm going to be going for the Seed Bomb as soon as we get it, because this should be a CMP tie if they threw right away, which they did, and I'm just going to let this go. Unfortunately, Shadow Hippowdon gets absolutely destroyed by Wall Rain, so I'm forced to bring in Shadow Snorlax. I am going to farm up, and now we're going to be going for the Superpower right before they get to 2 moves. I'm hoping this can land because they have a lot of energy. They let it through, and we're able to take them out. Back in comes Escavalier. We are going for another Superpower. This will not KO, but I'm hoping to do a combo play with the Stored Weather Ball. I'm trying to swap. The game is lagging. We are able to swap into the Shadow Hippowdon. We're going for the Weather Ball. Weather Ball is enough to take them out, and the final Pokemon is Swampert in the back. Unfortunately, again, Shadow Hippowdon has no play against this thing, so I am going to let that go. That whole team absolutely destroyed Shadow Hippowdon, and now we have to trust that Shadow Snorlax with 2 shields can clutch this match for us. They go for the Hydro Cannon. I do shield it up. I'm farming up as much as I dare, and I'm going for the Body Slam. I think I need to bait with the Body Slam and then land the Superpower to KO. We're able to get to the Superpower. The question is, does this KO? This is going to be incredibly close. It does not. They're at a move, but we get a lick through. The question is, does this one lick KO? And it does. Oh my goodness. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Hippowdon into Obstagoon. Obstagoon is really rough for my backline, so if at all possible, I want to try and take it out with the Hippowdon. I am going to let the first move through just in case they do get the boost. They don't. Night Slash does a pretty decent amount of damage, going for the Earth Power, and we're not able to get there. Shadow Hippowdon gets so outpaced, which is really unfortunate to see, and I really need this Earth Power to land. They shield it up, and at this point, I'm in a tremendous amount of trouble, as I have the option of going in with Trevenant and taking super effective from Night Slashes, or going in with the Snorlax and taking super effective from counters. They bring in Crobat, and at this point, this game is more or less over. But in that neutral situation, it was pretty disappointing to see Shadow Hippowdon honestly wasn't tanking the moves from Obstagoon very well, and was just significantly outpaced. And at this point, I recognize the game's over, and I do concede the match. Hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Hippowdon into Gallade. I have two better responses in the back, so I save switch into the Shadow Snorlax. This is just a Leaf Blade, but the fact that they're staying in to try and force a shield or get damage makes me think they don't have a hard counter, and that theory is confirmed when they bring in Ampharos. Ampharos, of course, does hit very hard with the Volt Switches and the Thunder Punches, but I should be able to get my shield back here or basically take them out. They do commit the shield, and at this point they do have the back-to-back Thunder Punches, so I don't really view it as worth shielding. I let it go, it doesn't take me out, we're farming up, they get worried about another Body Slam, and they empty their energy. This works great for me. I should be able to get a nice farm down with Shadow Hippowdon. Shadow Hippowdon, farming up. I believe this should just be a Thunder Punch, so I am going to let that go. Don't have to worry about a Focus Blast there. And now we can get a bit of an energy lead, but then the opponent brings in Snorlax, and this is a little scary. I'm going straight for the Earth Power. I need this to land, and they shield it, which is so bad because it takes Hippowdon forever to get to charge moves. I'm hoping that I will be able to get to a second. I do shield up the Body Slam. They're at another move. I need this to be a Body Slam and not a Superpower. It is a Body Slam. Come on, Shadow Hippowdon. Can we get there? We cannot. We fall just short, and I'm forced to go for the Rock-type Weather Ball. That does do a little bit of chip damage and should put it into Seed Bomb range for Trevenant, but still, Shadow Hippowdon does not charge very quickly, and that can prove to be very inconvenient in games. I'm going for the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb will be taking out the Snorlax, and they should just have that Gallade and the very low health Ampharos. We're able to get to a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb should be enough to take out Gallade from here, and then it should just be the very low health Ampharos. We're able to farm down, Trevenant closes, and that's a good game. Hopping to the next match, going up against some spice, going up against a Slowbro. We are going to save switch into Shadow Snorlax. Slowbro farms up a bit before they bring in Escavalier. This is definitely not a comfortable matchup because they can shield once and farm all the way down, and then they're going to leave with a significant amount of energy. I decided to go for the second superpower instead of a Body Slam bait, just so I can hopefully minimize the amount of farm they're going to get, because they're probably going to just farm down. They leave with quite a bit of energy, and at this point, knowing there's a Slowbro on the field, I'm thinking my only win con is basically just to soak energy on Hippowdon. So I am just going to let these moves go. I believe this should just be a second drill run. I should barely survive it, and then go for the Ice Fang down. We are able to. We're one off a move, so I should be able to throw one Ice Fang if they bring in the Slowbro, and switch to Defer the Confusion. So we bank the Weather Ball for later. What's the final Mon? And it's Shadow Crobat. Oh, this is not good. We are going for the Seed Bomb bait. We do get the shield, which is very nice, but the tough thing is they're going to be able to debuff me with Poison Fangs, which are going to make the fast moves from the Crobat and from the Slowbro do more and more damage, and my switch clock is not up. Shadow Ball does take them out. Back in comes the Slowbro. Slowbro able to farm down, and now I need this Rock-type Weather Ball to KO the Slowbro. Come on, please. It does not. We get farmed down, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, picking up the dream lead, Shadow Hippowdon into Ampharos. It is a purified Ampharos, do have to watch out for return. They save switch Gallade, and we bring in Trevenant. They're forced to go for the Leaf Blade. Again, all charge moves out of their standard moveset are resisted, so I am perfectly fine to overfarm here by a decent amount, and then we are going to be going for that Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb will take them out, and if they try and bring back in the Ampharos, that is going to be a really rough matchup. I was expecting them to bring in the third, but they do bring in the Ampharos, which definitely surprises me. I am going for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does big damage. They're not going to be able to Volt Switch down without me reaching another move, so they're forced to go for a Thunder Punch to take me out, and now I can bring in the Shadow Hippowdon. They have quite a bit of energy. I'm a little worried about a Focus Blast, so I shield it up. They're actually running Dragon Pulse, but they have a Shadow Machamp in back. So again, a double fighter team, just like the first battle. They were able to bait out my Ghost type, so I'm in a decent amount of trouble here. This is tough. Will I be able to survive it? I shield up. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but we're able to reach the Body Slam. That is big. This is going to be doing a lot of damage onto that Shadow Machamp. Shadow Machamp cannot farm down. There's a little bit of lag there, and they do end up throwing. This will be taking me out, but all they're doing at this point is just giving Shadow Hippowdon extra farm. Now the question is, can we survive a Dragon Pulse here? Because they should reach the Dragon Pulse. Can Shadow Hippowdon survive it? Come on, please. We do. We're able to reach the Rock-type Weather Ball, and this should be enough to take out the Ampharos. Oh my goodness. All right, hopping to the next match, leading Shadow Hippowdon into Shadow Machamp. Again, a neutral lead for the Shadow Hippowdon, but it's another situation where being as slow as we are to get to charge moves, it is really, really unfortunate. They go for the cross chop. That gets us very low. We are able to reach the earth power, but they already have a cross chop stored. They can very safely shield this up, farm me down. The Ice Fangs did do a decent amount of damage against them. They bring in Shadow Snorlax, and I'm going to mirror into my own Shadow Snorlax. Unfortunately, them switching in such a hard counter to Trevenant has me a little worried that they may actually have an even harder counter to Trevenant like Obstagoon in the back. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of lag there, and they are able to get off the back-to-back moves. I am going to shield up, they land the superpower, and then after that, they go for the body slam just so they're not in superpower range themselves. Very nice play. I go for the superpower, it's not enough to KO, and now I'm going to be going for a body slam of my own. Unfortunately, Shadow Machamp will be able to farm me down, but my switch clock is up, so I'm able to bring in Trevenant. This should just be a Rock Slide. I am going to commit the shield, as Rock Slide would still do a solid chunk of damage. The final Pokemon in the back is Gallade. So the opponent made a huge mistake by giving up Switch. Had they stayed in and kept Switch advantage, they would have fairly easily been able to win this game. Whereas since they did not, they're now in a tough spot with their Gallade lined up against the Trevenant. I try and go for the Leaf Blade. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of stuttering, and I take an extra confusion. The question is, are we going to be able to reach the Leaf Blade? We are not. Absolutely heartbreaking there. I didn't want to overfarm as much as I did. Game stuttered a little bit, and unfortunately, we do end up losing a game that we probably should have lost anyway. All right, hopping to the next match, picking up the Dream Lead again, Shadow Ampharos into Shadow Hippowdon. They're going to switch into Gyarados, and since I don't have a direct response to Gyarados, I am going to get some chip or get a shield with the Weather Ball. That does some pretty nice damage, and now we're going to bring in Shadow Snorlax. Shadow Snorlax will be able to tank any one move. They do have quite a bit of energy here. I am going to let that go, and we're able to lick down. You love to see it. They bring in the Shadow Ampharos, but we are still very healthy, and these body slams will hit for quite a bit of damage on the Shadow Ampharos, and at that point, the opponent concedes the match. All right, hopping into the next match, Shadow Hippowdon into Shadow Walrein. This is a terrible situation for us. I'm going to save switch into Shadow Snorlax, and we are met with a Machamp. So things could not have started much worse in this game. Going for the Body Slam. Body Slam does land, which is nice, but unfortunately they're able to outpace. They will get to 2 cross chops before I get to 2 Body Slams. They land the cross chop. I'm trying to get there, but we're not able to. At this point, I'm thinking I should bring in the Trevenant and actually go for a pretty aggressive farm down, because if I can get an energy lead, that should hopefully help me take on the Walrein in the back. So we are over farming quite significantly, and they have Shadow Crobat. So unfortunately, we're more or less just RPS'd here. Not really a whole lot we can do. We bring in Hippowdon, we're able to get 2 Ice Fangs off. Maybe there is life. I am suddenly ever so slightly hopeful. We're able to land the Rock-type Weather Ball, which is very nice, but unfortunately we get significantly outpaced here. So I am going to let this go, and at this point I'm recognizing that I'm just going to get farmed down. So unfortunately, I have to let it go, and that's a good game. Hopping to the final match, leading Shadow Hippowdon into Ampharos. The Dream Lead returns, and they're staying in. They throw a Volt Switch, and then they bring in Sylveon. I am going to bank a little bit of spare energy on Shadow Hippowdon to hopefully allow it to actually reach a move in the endgame, and now we bring in Shadow Snorlax. The Sylveon no-shields the first Body Slam, which is massive, as this now allows me to dictate switch advantage. I'm thinking I'm just going to shield once and commit to the farm down. That way we're going to leave with a ton of energy for whatever they decide to bring in. I am expecting the Ampharos just because it has very limited play against the Hippowdon, and we're going to be able to get off 2 moves. First one, the Body Slam does a solid chunk of damage, and now we're going for the Superpower. This should be getting it quite low, doesn't quite take it out. I go for the Snipe with Hippowdon. The Ice Fang did not KO, but I'm going to be going for the Weather Ball. Weather Ball does connect, it takes them out, and the final Pokemon is Typhlosion. Typhlosion is a little scary to see with a Grass type in the back, but fortunately Trevenant is exceedingly flexible. We're able to force a shield and they throw. At this point, I'm just going to let this go down, and that way I'll have Trevenant, a shield, and a potential sack swap with the Snorlax. So now we're going to bring in Trevenant. These Incinerates are hurting quite a bit. I'm going to farm up to the Shadow Ball, and I'm going to bait with a Seed Bomb, hoping against hope for the shield. They call it. This is not good. They're very close to cap. We switch, and we're able to catch the move onto Shadow Snorlax, and that will clinch the game for us, as now we're able to Shadow Claw down, and that is a good game. And now some final thoughts on Shadow Hippowdon. Honestly, I left feeling fairly disappointed in Shadow Hippowdon. Typically, the biggest selling point on Hippowdon is going to be the bulk. It's stuck with Ice Fang, Thunder Fang, Fire Fang, the Fangs as fast moves, so it's not going to be getting to charge moves very quickly, but hopefully you would want the Pokemon to at least be tanky enough where it can take enough hits to actually reach those charge moves. Unfortunately, with that lower defense from the Shadow, it really felt like that wasn't the case. Shadow Hippowdon ends up feeling, it has moderate bulk, but it needs to be significantly bulkier in order to get away with the moveset that it has. And unfortunately, being the Shadow form, it really doesn't have that. So for the time being, you can probably avoid it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide the channel is absolutely incredible. And we have released merch. I will have a link to our merch store in the description. Definitely go check it out, as we've got some really cool stuff in there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.